Went off with this one, but if you have any go on the ballot.
I'm sorry, who's
But they would only do
That's
their
right.
version on, not Joel's.
I use it for online now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
one of these? Okay, yeah, give it to her. Give it to her. Okay.
God.
And that's you, huh?
It was
No,
a
that's
cute.
you.
That I'm not.
God.
And that's you, huh?
It was
No,
a
that's
cute.
you.
That I'm not catching. I sat on plenty boards and
Anyway, I just.
with blanket. Yeah.
Oh, really quick, can you check one of my 3 boxes?
I think it would say that.
I multiply now.
I know, I love it. She is.
Oh, she's not.
No, that's this.
Oh.
No, down there, that's the door spell. Yeah, anywhere on the end. I'm blind.
You're not alone. You are not
No,
alone.
like I'm actually like, I can't.
You fill it out. We're all in this. Some of us do it better than others.
There's some over here.
All right.
Yeah, very good to see you.
That's why you don't want to look at a ruby.
Well, you know what? I'll just do what's here. Oh, gotcha, yeah.
How was your meeting this morning?
Which one?
I saw you I was having breakfast with a friend.
Productive.
3,000.
Oh, that's nice.
It's hot in here.
I know. How did you cut it? Oh, I don't see it. Doesn't matter, I'm still gonna and I'm gonna call my time they show up.
We're gonna check
Excuse me,
the
how
board
many
of,
minutes do we have to
Veterans
speak?
Advisory Commission.
Thank you so much.
So just let you know where I'm gonna be around at 6 o'clock
Okay, I made that over to the, I'm sure this is the elementary.
for their meeting.
Yeah,
They're supposed to have a pizza party before the meeting today.
Oh, she went into the office.
Well, I figured I'd sit here an hour or so and then. Mosey there.
I just got here too.
Head back.
Yeah, cause it's the,
They're meeting
Because I don't want to.
Stickers.
Yeah, I just sort of like have a presence, right, to let them know somebody's watching.
I love it when I show up.
The non-sexual organization.
Everyone just.
Is Bobby in there?
He is on his way out.
From your office?
And this is Lauren.
And the big girl chair there?
I'm not too bad, but that doesn't start till 6.
I know. That's why I was like, no, he's already.
My husband drinks 60.
So he's, right,
He will be right here.
And you didn't always.
And
and
then,
he's,
yes, the city attorney had offered. You've met her. She's our ethics and compliance officer.
Agenda.
like they have on.
You want a budget attorney? I know you more. They are gonna be the fan.
They just approve it. It's not like
Red tape stuff.
I guess
it literally covers the whole thing.
Car insurance covers everything that I have.
Yeah, then that's, yeah, you actually need to talk to the committee.
Well, that's already.
So we do have to.
How are you?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Sure about this, was
It's a big one.
Did you understand what I did?
Yeah, I thought you'll hear me. Wow, you going everywhere.
But I just, I see that they have to get to write that down.
You going off.
No, because I was there, so I can remember whatever it is.
Do we have a clock? CD timer?
I have, you have a timer? Yeah, okay.
All
You're
right.
like, oh, no.
Are we good to get started?
Timers are my specialty in the city.
Timers?
The time is 5:20 PM on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. I would like to call this meeting of the Board of Ethics to order. Madam Secretary, could you call the roll for us, please?
Yes, Chair Solis,
Present.
Vice Chair Hurst,
Present.
Member Berrigan,
Present.
Member Gersten,
Present.
Member Padilla,
Present.
Member Torres. Member Torres is absent. Member Velisaropoulos notified that she was sick and would not be in attendance. Also in attendance, I have Deputy City Attorney Elizabeth Piatanza, Secretary Sydney Montalvo.
Looks like we have a public comment section on the agenda for members of the public to address board items that are not listed on the agenda. Secretary Montalvo, do we have any written or public comments?
We have no written public comments, but we do have in-person public comments for Member Roberts.
Okay. Board on items under the board's jurisdiction.
Hello, Board of Ethics and members of the public. We appreciate everybody being here tonight. I know you guys volunteered time to come in and do this, so I just want to recognize each of you for showing up today to have this meeting. You know how it's been over the but you guys seem to show up for your meetings, so previously so I'll tell you about an audit I did at the city council. And before the event, or before the city meeting, there was the Jewish American Heritage event. And they post 2 police officers right in the front as a security measure to search bags and operations. And the problem becomes when I can evade their security, right? And then I can show the lieutenant in person me doing it, right? But according to them, they thought I couldn't do what I was doing. Made it into the secure area using all public doors, of course. I don't break entry. I don't go into guys to be in as a member of the public. But I bring this to you because we have officers here, whether you're on duty now or work, you can kind of see where I'm coming from when I bring up this public comment. Do I think you guys are going to directly change that? No, but I think the more that you know about what goes on at the city, the better you can draw these bigger pictures to make the right decision. I know we have a few items tonight. We have quite a few members of the public, so appreciate my time. Maybe a little bit longer of a night than we normally do. So there are a few more things that I want to address, but maybe I'll do it at 4.1 with that comment to stay on agenda. Because I know the city's attorney's office likes to tell people, you're speaking on something that's agendized, and then tries to discourage the members of the public from engaging like they did last night at the city council. Right? Not you, Sydney.
Thank you,
Just to
Robert.
clarify. Or you, Elizabeth, right? But like, these are ethical things. It's ethically wrong to interrupt people during comments. You know, just let us speak. We only get a certain amount of time, and we get every last second of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And that concludes public comment, under general public comment.
Okay. Then we'll move on to action item, or the next item on the agenda is 4.1, and that's the approval of meeting minutes. Do we have any written public comment regarding that?
We have no written public comment, but we do have one in-person public comment. Robert.
All right.
And I'm back. Formalities matter. Having public comment matters. So thank you for having the public comment. Maybe there should have been a little bit of discussion before. You know, presentations leave that example, maybe not this one. As a matter of fact, that's why I'm up here, is to talk about this item, right? And in most boards, commissions, they have a consent calendar. I brought this up, you know. They have a consent calendar, usually includes absences and the meeting minutes, and you guys can vote on it in one passing of the meeting. But when I go to meetings, and then they're all different, it just confuses the public, right? Why isn't there a consent calendar? Why, you know, it creates questions that don't need to be there because they should be the same, right? And so over the period of last year, 2 years, I've been going board to board telling them the differences so we can all get on the same page. And that way when the public comes here, they can engage with you on the same level and not wonder why different items are listed as action items compared to consent calendar, which is every other board. So, at the Bolt, right, they had a absent approval, and the reason why I'm trying to tie this in is because it's supposed to be part of consent, okay? Where on the date of the paper it said 4/9, and that they were going to vote to approve this absence, right, an excused absence, but what was checked was a 7-day, you know, you have to notify with it before 7 days, right? Well, the 9th to the 15th is under that 7-day, and that just happened today, and they were going to vote on it until I brought up a question about, you know, no paperwork supporting them to vote on that. Right, so I encourage you guys to really do diligence when you're looking at this paperwork to see if it's filled out minutes or may it be any approved absences, because obviously there's, and so, you know, I bring this up to tell you about what's going on in other boards to make this board just as good as the other board. So, like I said, I do take my time. I'll give you the 20 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to read into the record that Commissioner Torres arrived at 5:28.
Okay. Is there any more comment?
And that concludes public comment on that item.
So then we can take a moment to review our meeting minutes. And then if anybody can have a motion. Is there a motion to approve item 4.1?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second? I have a motion by Commissioner Gersten and a second by Commissioner Aragon. Excuse me. Yeah, to approve item 4.1. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Looks like we pass unanimously with the exception of Commissioner Williams being not present. Okay. And then moving right along to action item 4.2. The next item on the agenda is item 4.2, and that's to authorize the chair to work with staff to submit annual activities report for fiscal year 2025 to 2026.
Public comments on this item.
And then we'll go ahead and proceed with the discussion regarding item 4.2.
And then just as a background, this is a requirement that the, so if there's anything you would like modified, we can take that into account, and then the chair will finalize with your approval, and then we submit it to the city.
Is that the fiscal year that's on June
Yes.
30th of this year?
That is correct. So this would be all of our work from July ending June. Yeah. It's like,
So we have more time to add to our fund.
we have been very accomplished, I will say.
But we still have another.
You do, you.
Good question. At the bottom of page 1 of the report, did that presentation take place at the city council meeting? So was scheduled to make it?
Not yet, so that is pending, we are working to get that done. We are looking at June 2nd, and that is something I need to also speak with the chair to discuss that. So yes, it has not happened yet, but will happen in June.
Great.
Is there a motion to authorize myself to work with staff to finalize the Smith Board Commission annual activities report?
Motion.
Chair, I was just wondering, in light of tonight's agenda, there might be more to add to the accomplishments if the accomplishments go till June 30th. So I don't know if it's premature to finalize the list at this point. I'm just raising that as a possibility.
What's our next,
Our next one is June 17th. We could wait, or you could also direct him to add any additional accomplishments, if that works too. That's also an option.
Push it up to June 17th.
Yeah, you can push it out or authorize the chair to
Let's-
add.
yeah, let's push it out then
Okay.
to the 17th. and
Hello.
just- Do we need the verbiage, right, for that? Or is it changes place on the agenda?
Or if you can, if the agenda item is to authorize the chair to work with staff to finalize. It does not give a time frame to finalize. So if it's to be submitted by June 30th, if if your understanding is to authorize him to finalize it prior to June 30th, you can do that now, or you can do that in June. And finalizing, includes adding.
So does it actually have to be submitted by June 30th, or June 30th is the cutoff date as far as accomplishments to be delineated?
They want it submitted June 30th.
Are we changing the motion?
Well, I guess it's not necessary, right? Because if we're just talking about finalizing it, we're not putting a date on it.
The motion is to authorize you to
Right.
work with staff to finalize. That authorization can come now. The finalization does not need to come until, June 29th, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Or we can table this item until the June 17th meeting, but if we don't have quorum, that's the only thing to keep in mind.
I think we move forward with authorizing to do it, unless anyone has an objection.
As long as we can add a proviso in the motion to include anything subsequent during the period from today until June 30th. Because if we're doing numbers, the number could be higher.
And you can include as an agenda item, you can brief, at the next meeting, any additional items that you intend to.
Yeah, let's do that then. I think that'll work best.
Want to just table it to next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, then I will make a note.
So that doesn't require a motion.
Mm-mm.
Say motion to stand.
Well, as chair, he can move it. No motion is needed.
Let's see. And then we're, okay with that, then we'll go on to 4.3. So next item on the agenda is item 4.3, discussion and potential action to refer draft lobbying ordinance. Secretary Montalvo, any public comments?
We do have public comments, but I would request that we do those after discussion and presentation of Deputy City Attorney Bill Thompson, that's okay.
That works for me.
Okay.
Okay, so the last time we discussed this ordinance, we had reviewed, and there were 6 notations you made, so we made those notations. The first one is on page 2, and the page numbers might be a bit off with the track changes, but it's page 2, section 2.55.020, the significance of have the need and right to know versus right to know. It is the city's recommendation to have, city attorney's recommendation to have it be the need to know. That is the more conservative approach, because the right to know may be a higher burden to.
Is that an agenda?
So if someone has a need to know the identity, that would be the more conservative approach. The next item, and then along with that, we provided, city attorney has provided with other edits for consideration and so that you'll see throughout the proposed ordinance for you all to consider. The other item is in the same section actually, section 2.55.020 was to define persons. And that is, we've moved that item, you'll see it in the definitions section, and it will, and so we'll get to that later in the document. It will track the government code. So, and it also included addressing your question about the requirement for disclosure of employer identity. If they're doing lobbying activities, they're lobbyists or they're not. We don't need to disclose the identity of employers. Next section should be around page 8. Section 2.55.050. Sorry, just so you know, sorry, on page 6, the top of page 6, section J, that includes the definition of person as 047. So in reference to the so and going down to page, sorry, I have it on now, page 6, 2.55.050. Oh yeah, sorry. So it's in there. It's going to be at section J. So it is on page 8. It was discussing the definition of de minimis lobbying. Originally, we had some discussion about what is considered de minimis. Is it you know, lobbying that lasts for less than 1 minute, that seemed to be difficult to define. So, the FPPC says that, you know, local government agencies can adopt their own rules on this. So perhaps instead of some suggestions for you to consider, instead of a 1 minute, defining de minimis as 1 minute, that it could be something like, you know, the person's is compensated no more than $500 in a month. Or it could be time-based, like they don't engage in lobbying for more than 5 or 10 hours a month. Other, you know, or it can be, if there's some other like more objective test, so like if it's any communication, or a request for advice that's discussed, or you can consider it, or, you know, I'm going to ask you all to take this home and have some homework and read through it all. Sorry. And bring your questions back for
That
the
was
next
gonna be my
time.
request.
Yes, yes, you get homework
So,
today.
so I put in the example, or where the lobbyist is not compensated, but you can put, I just mark wherever, you know, that is room. I think that we can get a more objective standard there. And we still have, there are a couple of sections that we are still waiting for confirmation. You'll see I made a note from the clerk's office because it involves their actions by them, so waiting, should have comments from them. The next one is going to be section 100C, 2.55 100C. Sorry, yeah, and before, one of the questions was, just want to note that in section C, the last time we added, if the complaint is sufficient, within 5 days, city clerk forwards it to the enforcement authority. This is highlighted for you as part of your homework. For us, I'd like us to really walk through this section. Because I think there's opportunity for more clarity here. Or if you want to, you know, do things like, perhaps, do you want to allow anonymous complaints? Maybe that answer is no, but you want to, you know, like keep in the jurisdictional restriction. And this also gives discretion to the city clerk, you know, forwarding it to the enforcement authority. Do you want to keep that in place, or do you want to track it with like our ethics complaint process? So I just ask that you pay particular attention to this section as you read it. Any other ideas for how to proceed?
So Elizabeth, do you want that as part of our homework, or do you want a
Yes.
conversation discussion?
Both. I mean, you can think about it and then we will discuss. Then on. And then the last, I think your last question from the last one was section 110 was about the implementation date. So I think that it's going to be hard. This is going to be a moving target because it's an ordinance that requires 2 reviews and a referendum period and getting it on council calendar. So I just suggest changing it to a more generic 30 calendar days after final approval of the ordinance. It shall be implemented.
Approval terminology also include a referendum period.
We can define that. I would think so. I'll see if that's already I'll double check if that's already by code. I think
Or maybe
it
we cite
is.
to the code.
We could cite to the code.
So there's no doubt.
Yes. So, so that is the update on this lobbying ordinance. Happy to answer any questions now. Obviously there will be some, I think, more discussion on this, and we have a lot to digest in here. And we do have, I understand.
Can we go to public comment real quick and then do discussion?
It's a simple question.
Okay.
Okay. When you meant final approval, is that the Board of Ethics final approval or is that city?
City council.
Okay.
Okay. There is no written public comment on this one, but we do have one in-person public comment, and that is Robert.
Okay.
All right, Robert.
So, we got an audience tonight, so it's kind of cool. You guys get to listen to me do my job. Well, this copy says 3/2/2026, right? That's the date of the draft version. And the last draft version was 1/15/26, I believe. That's what I see online. Last meeting, this paper wasn't added to the item, nor is there like a congruent movement of this paperwork, right? So the draft changes in 3/2 don't mention the draft 15, right? And I'll give you an example. 2.55.035, which there is not a 035 on this one, and the draft change is the lobbyist defined was the original verbiage. And so my problem is we're not seeing all the changes that are being made here. Version with more corrections, but I'm not seeing the original corrections which were from this draft document. I mean, you know, if you don't care, that's fine, but I think it's important to note that these documents weren't even uploaded, right? We're seeing them for the first time right now. You guys check the agenda, so it's not hard to do.
So,
Okay, you still have a minute left.
All right. This was the problem I was telling you guys about these documents moving forward with the item, right? Because it's in a subcommittee, or whatever you guys do to split it off most of the time, it then hides those documents until you bring them from the subcommittee to the actual item. Now, I think the opposite is happening here, where this is being brought from staff with draft changes from the city attorney's office, but I think that there's more change should reflect the current version of changes. We're saying that there's a red line version that's being displayed here tonight with the date of 3/2/26, and it doesn't include those red line changes made from the beginning. So, you know, maybe it's just me being a citizen and trying to follow the paperwork, but it's not as easy as I would have expected it to be, just seeing the changes go through, let alone a congruent packet that shows from this day's changes to those days' changes. Thank you.
And that concludes public comment.
engage in discussion just from the January 15th meeting where we tracked changes at that time, and the board voted to accept my understanding from the board, difficulty with that on top, changes on top of so many changes, so you voted to accept the draft on that January 15 draft.
there any other discussion on it from the commissioners, board members?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
As we continue to edit, will we consider this draft a new January? I'm sorry for technical.
I mean,
wording terms.
it's a working document, right,
Mhm.
as of now?
Yes.
Continues as a draft regardless.
Because, I mean, it's our document that we created,
Mhm.
right? It's not like we're changing something that was already there, or, this is all starting from scratch, so. Okay. Let's see. So I guess we would make, or is that necessary?
I don't think so. There's no,
We could re-agendize it for the next meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
For
because
review.
we're just reviewing.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
all-
let's do that.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Ethics, subpoena powers. Secretary Montalvo, any comments, written or public?
We have no, we have one in-person comment.
Do we want to do the discussion first again? Would that be easier?
I can provide the update and then
Let's do that.
Okay, so this, a working document, the proposed amendment, City of Chula Vista grant of subpoena powers to the document, and you asked for a city attorney review on this proposed ordinance. The Board of Ethics power without amending the charter. So the charter does not mention the word subpoena for the Board of Ethics, does not include that authority. Code and general law, which gives subpoena power to the legislative body. So in order to continue pursuing this, you would have to pursue it. Charter is beyond the scope of this board. So you would have to then, not within the scope of, is your role Board of Ethics member, but as a member of the public in your personal capacity, if you wanted to consider amending the charter for the purpose of, it would go to the public for a vote, and I believe for this election, that deadline would be early on. Government code, the only ones that have subpoena power beside, they're not boards, they're not commissions, but where they conduct an administrative hearing, a revocation of a permit or a license or an entitlement. So just in contrast, this board is advisory. It does not make final decisions, it makes recommendations, and so I think consider the question of what the board's not making final, so I offer those are the comments of the. So as before we can accept public comment too.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, we only have one in-person public comment on this item, and that is Robert.
Hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. It's weird how this document is being transferred from the previous meeting to this meeting, no changes, no nothing, and yet it's visible. Like I said, we just have to have some consistency around here. You know what I mean? Like, being displayed here publicly tonight, but it's still not part of the documents. And so some of my work comes in to make sure that we're actually uploading the documents and members, you know, like I said, there's examples of the opposite.
And that concludes public comment.
Thank you.
We created that package, the research that was done on it. There's other cities that allow the Board of Ethics to have subpoena power. If there's gonna be any kind of investigation that's done and there's no subpoena power, it would go back the way it was before, which is submission of paperwork that's been done on a home computer or submitting documents that are not even in existence. When you have subpoena power, it puts in a way to get the information so that when the investigation or the reports are turned in, we have something to debate on that's actually true, not something that someone gave us and said, here it is. So in other cities, they already have those problems. So if we have to go and allow the city to vote on it, put it on the next ballot, I think it's a good part to have, because then we can do our job efficiently and knowing the truth and not do a discussion based on some paperwork or some fictitious paperwork somebody submitted. You know, half truths don't make us better at our investigation work. So I think it's something we should go to bat for, because I think the board's gonna need it.
Just to respond to your point about other cities. So for example, the city of Berkeley does have subpoena power for its boards and commissions, but the charter from Berkeley is very broad and says every member of any board or commission provided for in this charter shall have power to issue subpoenas. So our charter does not include that language. So just highlighting, as you said, those other cities that it's rooted in the charter. And one other, in contrast, with the, just another factor to consider is that with the, like the enforcement authority, and also with ethics complaints, there is an option to refer, depending on the seriousness of the matter, if there is a competing investigation by the DA, or the California Attorney General, then this board holds off on doing anything, or instead of investigating to one of those other enforcement agencies. So it's not without investigative, that no investigation would be done, it would be done by another entity. So just to clarify that point.
And then, so if members of the commission want to go to the charter review board, they have to do so acting as private citizens, not members of this board.
Correct.
And okay, just so we know what would be needed.
Just so I understand, so the charter presently only gives subpoena power to the council, who in turn by ordinance can delegate it, for example, to administrative hearing officers.
This legislative body has.
But the
the
council
power.
has delegated to administrative hearing officers because they take evidence as
Yes,
well as.
and make final decisions on matters that affect the people.
Can I ask a follow-up question? Where, just to get clarity about what we would like to do, where in our Board of Ethics, role will we be finding this power useful, or where would it fit in?
I think it would fit in documents that we would need if there was a case where the complaint is about official documents and we needed them, then pushing it off to another agency would be a thought. But if we can get the documents ourselves, so when we have our discussions, we know exactly which documents we're talking about, we can finalize and we can make our own decision for ourselves.
And another point of clarification too is you can request the evidence. It doesn't need to, whether they comply or not is another story, but certainly if you're doing an investigation, you can request the evidence. If they don't comply, then that is noted, and that's maybe where you consider sending to another enforcement agency, or people comply with this process.
Or to add something to that, or are you considering your decision? If you have a calcitrant non-cooperative party, or to the ultimate decision.
I think overall it's just to benefit the investigation that we would conduct, just to simplify it. But again, doing our own, whoever doesn't comply with it, and then we're stuck with pawning it off on somebody else, I don't think would be very happy to want to assist, unless it was something just. But I can see, I definitely can see the benefits of having that subpoena power and subpoena authority for this board. Obviously, we know what we need to do if we have to meet with the charter board in a personal capacity, not in our capacities as this commission, but and members of the public can also help.
And last time I checked, the charter was over 30 years old, never been changed, correct?
I believe it's pretty old, yeah.
So,
That and-
Well, parts of it have changed.
I believe parts of it changed.
I think so.
with that, I mean, unless you have something else to add?
let's just dig into it and figure
Yeah,
out
I
what
was
we
gonna
gotta do.
say, so update, or can we just accept it and
No motions needed.
no motions?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yes, we have a lot to get to, it looks like. So, thank you, Deputy Superintendent, for that. Okay, so what everyone is here for, it looks like. The next item on the agenda is 4.5. It's 2026-02. Madam Secretary, do you have anything in public or written comments regarding?
Any written comments, but we do have public comments.
I guess what I'm trying to figure out, is it beneficial to start with our discussions versus public comments, or do we need to go in this order?
When are we going to close session?
We do not go into closed session.
Yeah, this is all open session.
You can perhaps explain what the process is. If you- And then, because it would pretty much just about launches into discussion,
Right.
or you can have a brief statement on what it is you'll be doing.
Break that down first, just so everybody's on the same page, including our guests. And folks, I'm going to start off by reading complaint procedures and the prima facie review, just to give everyone a better understanding. So the Board of Ethics will conduct a prima facie of the complaint. The purpose of the prima facie review is to determine if the complainant has made 2.28.090A. Complaints form refer to other enforcement agency and requests for confidentiality. Therefore, or thereby establishing jurisdiction. Review may result in the following: no prima facie showing made. The complaint does not contain a full allegation. The difference would be if prima facie showing was made and requiring further action. And then there is some substance there. That way, because we're doing. And then Deputy City Attorney, do you want to, I guess, explain a little bit?
Yes, do you want, you said this is to, or when it should have been discovered with the exercise of reasonable diligence, justification for any delay of the complainant. For complaints concerning behavior, such complaints must be received by the board within 90 days of the most recent events comprising the pattern of behavior. Be reviewing for in the prima facie review is the at the beginning. So in writing, identify persons subject to the code, contain a full allegation, be sworn under penalty of perjury, and be submitted within 90 days of occurrence. So those are the guideposts that you'll complain for those requirements.
All right. Let's see.
And that's all we're doing at this point. Not
Yes,
anything
and then you, if you find jurisdiction, it proceeds to further action, which, you know, after you make a decision, we can go through further action, next steps. If you find that there's no jurisdiction, then it is dismissed and you must identify the reason.
So can the commissioners take some time to review it?
Do you want? Okay, so, you all have the complaint. So this is the complaint available. And I'll, section 1 is the complainant's information did not request a confidentiality. Section 2 starts on page 5. The respondent is Jdata, council member from District 2. And then pages 6 and 7 list complaints. Description of facts. The complainant attached an addendum. Section 5 is on page 9. Witnesses. There's 3 witnesses. Documentation, if there's a video that supports what occurred. So the witnesses and the documentation are evidence of the complaint to support the complaint. They are the evidence, section 7, there's no related complaints. So section 8 is additional information. And I'm just, you can all read this, I'm just. Section 9 is the sign verification that we do redact, but it does show that it is signed. And then pages 13 through 15 are instructions. 16 is requested, and then pages, the attachment A are so is for your review and discussion.
When we received this complaint? I see it's signed.
It was received on the May 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a little too. So it's.
Go before me. I'll do the second one, or the third.
Sydney, we can speak sitting down, right?
Whatever's
Comfortable.
you're comfortable
No,
with.
it's because I'm gonna read mine, so I don't go on a tangent.
Sure, sure.
Go for it. Come on, you're a professional. You got this, right? All right.
Okay. Not that evidence is being considered or whatnot. It's just a, why should I say something? I don't know what everybody's belief is, but, this was me.
Because they want opportunity, not because it's a meeting now. Oh, you got a meeting with 55 bucks, where you going to?
He switched up to Spanish. He said about
Because they want opportunity, not because it's a meeting now. Oh, you got a meeting with 55 bucks, where you going to?
Okay, so that's the repeat point. So you can hear my concern. The city meeting, and he comes storming out there, and he just interrupt the press, right? He wants to chill speech. And when I'm standing out there asking him a legitimate question about his city business, if he's confrontation. Okay, it's not like he was willing to address others. He had one set mind when he was in that moment. Okay, there were other things. Members of the public and doing gestures and motion, but this is the one that came here today, right? About the whole city working, from other meetings to the city council. Because then when you come here, you can just what already happened, And so for members of the community, I just go to the meetings and record things. I don't even have to put an opinion on this. Now, like I said, I just wanted to play it because what better way for me to emphasize. I don't want to be here and say I'm favoritizing one. Does that make sense? Because I'm supposed to be unbiased in some sense. So are you. So thank you.
Next public speaker, Chuck Sanfilippo.
That's my icebreaker. I've seen the video several times, and what's the old saying? A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Elsewhere, council people are held at a higher, to a higher standard, as those that are running should. And while we're reviewing this at my house before coming, you have an ad hoc group that you can convene if the majority of you say that you do have authority to rule on this. And that would be, I believe, city manager, and I think one alternate. It was violate Title VII of her civil rights before. He was based on national origin. The language in which she's speaking. violating her First Amendment rights. Put underneath the carpet and what have you. And I understand you got, you know, heavy hearts but always be remembered, the video, once it gets loaded up to the cloud, that's the end of it, right? It's gonna be there forever. So, whether it's censorship or admonishing him, violated multiple laws, both federally and locally. So it's a heavy case. It's a heavy situation you need to really review and take serious. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. I want to talk about the excessive force and 4.5 related complaint. Okay. So I had a similar event that happened. Ms. Martinez, because of what she's going through, and I also was a witness to that event too as well. So what I witnessed was disrespectful behavior, intimidation tactics, and interfering with the rights. And so this type of behavior is unbecoming. I just want you guys to know that this is a lot for me, I'm sure for her, and for all of our mental. And just having to figure out what to do. So for instance, I lost my license, my car, and so I'm on my own, and I'm a veteran, and I'm a community activist, I'm a father of a daughter that's 16-year-old. When the city kicks back at me like this, I get real mad, and I don't like it. So I'm asking the Board of Ethics if you could help me out and get a reference number to this, and in this way, I could get my... So thank you for all your time, and thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I wanted to state that when an elected official uses the influence of members of the press or politically target an opponent in a public setting, serious ethical concerns. Regardless of political differences, all candidates should be able to communicate with the public without... Members of the press should be free to perform their duties without undue pressure from those in the positions of authority. Seeing the video that she has, that actually, the audio is much better. It centers on the lack of professional conduct by a sitting council member. The importance of upholding hear all voices fairly and freely. The conduct at issue appears to represent a blatant further review, in my opinion, of this incident for potential ethical violation, including a misuse of official position, intimidation, and interference with press activity. Councilmember Preciado appears to have intentionally disrupted and undermined Ms. Martinez's ability for District 2. Ms. Martinez's First Amendment rights may have been violated by Councilmember Preciado in his capacity as a local government official, and I respectfully request that because of a potential conflict of interest, as the sitting attorney, Mr. Verdugo, has publicly I received this in the mail, and you can see Verdugo has endorsed Mr. Preciado. Proof that there's conflict of interest. Thank you.
Next speaker, Anna.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I witnessed on the evening of February the 2nd, and Halleck and I building. She went over, Telemundo, I believe it was, came over and asked her to talk. She was interviewing with them. Then all of a sudden, a huge person, because it was scaring me, comes rushing through, intimidates. We'll see. He wanted to make sure what he had to say was more important than what she was saying at the time. He just went off saying lies that she doesn't like Mexicans and just words were astonished too, and I kept saying, don't stop, keep talking. So he actually not right. Do you think Angelica wants to be here tonight doing this? This takes a lot of courage and a lot of guts to come here and face this, especially with a city council member who everybody there is against anybody who's running. Bullying her in the sense that he came in and literally got in front of her, said what he had to say, and didn't care about it. Think about it. That wasn't right. Would you do that? Would you do that to your constituents? Take over? And so I hope that you really listen to this and judgment be the call. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker Greg? Greg Martinez?
Okay. This will be short because I was there that night, and I think that was the night that we were talking about the and you know, we all came out of the council chambers, including 4 of the city council members, and I was talking to Mr. Preciado, and Robert was right there kind of close to stuff that we had discussed, and then he just kind of shot over and he made a and I couldn't believe it, you know, and then he was saying stuff like she hates Latinos, you know, odias a las Latinos, means you hate Latinos. So ridiculous on its face that, you know, it's kind of embarrassing for him, but honestly it's threatening, you know, because he's, you know, a large physical man, he's got a lot of, you know, he's got some political power, right, and you know, and also this happened on city property, that's the other thing, you know, obviously. So he was pretty much acting in his, I believe, his capacity as a city council person when it occurred. So, and I think that's all the comments. I don't really have anything else to add that other people won't discuss.
Thank you. Next speaker, Angelica?
Because I believe no constituent should ever be intimidated publicly, discredited, retaliated against, or silenced by another exercising the right to speak. On February 2nd, 2026, following a special city council meeting, I was outside Chula Vista City Hall being interviewed by a local reporter regarding comments I had made. I had participated respectfully during the meeting process as both a constituent and a candidate for Chula Vista City Council District 2. Interaction. Video evidence showed that he was elsewhere before noticing the reporter interviewing me. Instead of allowing me to speak, he began making public accusations against me, using the word hate. In Spanish, he repeatedly used the word odio, meaning hate. Especially since both of my parents are Latinos. I immediately informed him that what he was doing was meaning what you're doing is defamation. Despite that, he continued making disparaging remarks about me in front of the reporter and members of the public. Councilmember Preciado, and he was attempting to interview me. However, disrupted, stopped after Councilmember Preciado continued interrupting and escalating the situation. At that point, I became fearful because and his statute. As a constituent, I should not have to fear retaliation. or participating in civic engagement. As a candidate, I should not have a fear to communicate publicly. I also want the Commission to understand the emotional impact this incident had on me. Councilmember Preciado's demeanor was aggressive, speaking aggressively towards me, and I felt vulnerable, intimidated, and with the the Coke bottle that he was moving around. This conduct raises serious concerns regarding protected political speech and conduct that chills civic participation by residents and candidates alike. No resident should feel afraid to speak during because they fear being targeted afterward by the elected official from City Hall.
But I think we.
And we'll have one more public.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Next public speaker is Mitchell.
Can I move over here so you can see?
Sure. Wheel on by.
Let's see, thank you for your service, all of you. I've been on a number of commissions. My name is Mitch Thompson. I'm a Chula Vista resident. Been active in the community for, probably don't know me, but I've played a lot of different roles. I served on the city council a number of years ago. I was the chair of the General Plan Update Committee. I was on the Otay Water Board for 10 years. And I say all of that to establish some credibility in being a local citizen who's watched civic affairs for a long time. The timing of this complaint, and I also had a complaint against me while I was on the city council, purely motivated for political purposes. And I've seen that several times. I don't want to see this commission or of the city be used for political purposes. That's exactly what's going on here. Look at the timing. We are right in that. Ms. Martinez is lucky enough to become one of the 2 finalists. Then the actions of this thing will be used. And that's evident that it's really a political motivation, you know, to try and press or whatever else, or to use her. This is one of her, it's got her campaign, which I want to submit as evidence, where she says that because of his disrespect for constituents, a complaint has been filed with the ethics. She's using it for political purposes, and that's a half lie. She didn't say that I filed the complaint. She made it, you know, and so this one about this, she used this, you know, showing that it's an FPPC. She didn't have that on here, and so the point being here that I think you should look at this. Discussions or things that happen where it's not on the diet, how that raises its level to the ethics where it's in your purview to talk about ethics. They have a lot of opinions, all the people that have spoken here, and I don't see where this really has a place. If she thinks she's so restraining order and that sort of thing. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time.
So, 3 minutes exactly.
Okay,
right?
I won't even get all of. I will, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Hit the wrong button. Okay, we're
Get your
done.
time involved. It's like soccer, right? 10% did, 90% complained about. I am specifically not offering testimony about any of this because I don't want. Because I was there, I had come out, and I don't want my opinion to be interjected media that because I think that the video a picture is worth 1,000 words, and it will tell You can see the video for yourself. My big issue, especially as a Christian, truth loves the light. If there's, and this is not one-sided or another, it should be look at the video, judge for yourselves, and I do not even plan to test. I just want the video to speak. You guys use a judge and move forward with that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Right. For the board members and then the public as well, just so, again, everyone's clear. Specifically, to see if we have jurisdiction over this complaint. That means that it on the complaint that's filed. I know we've had evidence submitted. We gotta follow the process here and make sure that we're doing this right. So with that being said, does it fall? Do we have jurisdiction to go to the next step, essentially?
In the next step.
2.28.110. For that determines either that you may request additional information or 3 board members to conduct a further investigation or hire an investigation. Or if you think you have enough information,
I guess my question would be, technical issues. My question is, what about, how come, you're understanding what I'm saying?
yeah. I mean, the requirement apply with 2.28.090. If you find that it complies, and there's not a full basis to support that, that can be contested in the later stage.
Right.
But
I mean, for instance, I don't know, my math could be wrong on one, but I think we're past the 90-day limit for this to be reported to us. I believe we're somewhere around 99 days, maybe 100. I don't know, how does anyone else feel, or as far as any other things that they're seeing in this? Only issue here, I mean, it might be worth moving forward with an ad hoc subcommittee.
For me, that would be the only one to move forward because I think. What was the date?
And then
there are
there's
other
a couple,
requirements.
Yeah, there's another slight issue.
So that's in writing, identify, person subject to the code.
I think what was checked was the position. That's what I had. Use their official title or position for personal gain. Personal gain includes but not of their official title or position. So that is the specified prohibition that's been identified according to this complaint. I'll defer to the rest of the commission, but to me that's more of a pay-for-play type prohibition, or, yeah, specified item that we put in the municipal code.
I would share with the two considerations or concerns in 9 days as well.
Okay.
And I read the subsection 3.0 as personal gain. It does say including but not limited to, and I'm not aware. Do we have any past historical or anecdotal evidence? It would be much clearer to me if it didn't have, but it's not limited to. If you read it in the abstract, it clearly does, in my mind, pertain to inapplicable subsection of the. And my concern too is 090, it says alleged violation must be within 90 days. It doesn't seem to be any wiggle room. Situation where it wasn't discovered for where the exercise of due diligence might excuse it as well. So I share in your concern.
To your question, I'm not aware of legislative history that addresses, that fully fleshes that subsection 2 out of how to define personal gain.
And do we have any, I'm thinking the answer is no, but do we have I would think the answer would be no.
Yeah, I'm not aware of previous complaints in this city, not aware of any that.
The subsection that delineates all the bases.
So, Code of Ethics, which is in the municipal code, section chapter 2.01 is the Code of Ethics in the municipal code. The substance of it, 2.0, and it has section A is guiding principles. Additional guiding principles for Board of Ethics members, so for you all, and then section complaints can be based on. And so those specific prohibitions are copy and pasted into the complaint form. So that's exactly on pages of the Code of Ethics specific prohibitions.
Okay, that was my next question. So this is a code. Okay. So all we have in number 2 is use their official title or position for personal gain. Official solicits items of value in consideration. So that is verbatim lifted from you.
Yes.
Thanks.
I have a quick question. When you say 90 days, is that working days?
If it's one other item. So in the Code of Ethics, so for item number 2, official title or position for personal gain, which is what it says. Personal gain includes, but is not, a city official solicits or accepts items of value in consideration of their official title. Ethics that says this section does not include obtaining benefits authorized by law. So just.
And in sales, there was a slight deviation between where a city official solicits, the code says solicits or accepts, and accepts.
Yes, solicits or accepts items of value.
Commissioner Bergen?
Yeah, I'm noticing where we're getting, just a read of the requirements and say doesn't check that box, and then might clarify. It would be the, the 90 days, it's past the 90 days. And like Commissioner Gerson said, for review, this code, maybe the board could say at some point, oh, was reduced to 60. But that's another conversation. It's just a matter of changing dates, right? I sense the other place we're getting, I don't want to make a judgment here, but we're speaking, this is here, and based on the complaint, I don't see that billing meeting that prohibition, saying that the person being complained about not only use their title of position in these prohibition.
So the specified prohibition, it's not aligned with basically, essentially the complaint and what's being allegedly by.
So I would concur with Commissioner Barragan on those are that when reading 2.28.090, where it says for complaints concerning unethical patterns, which already has been discussed, where it says must, right? File within the 90 days. So the timeline for me it's a concern. So that is my biggest concern, as well as value as stated on the complaint, so that doesn't meet the qualification. So I'm having difficulty seeing those two main areas of concerns. Basically, with.
Thank you, Commissioner Padilla. Commissioner Torres?
The must in there. Correlate with the word shall, if it was the same thing, it'd be the same thing. I don't know if he would have the ability to override that. Also, we're talking about the limited to situations where the city officials, based on what was alleged in there, could that be used to gain? I mean, based on what we heard in the video was legendary. I mean, you could use a statement the first.
Right.
That's how I kind of drew it a little bit.
Sure.
I think that's one way to get around that section, but I just don't know about the other part. We even have the ability to override those 9 days. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Saying with maybe it's not a tangible item, but something else that's of benefit. Of value.
But like you just said, that the only thing it'll be the 90 days. Yeah, can't get around.
What was that sentence?
This section does not include obtaining benefits that are otherwise authorized by law. Easier to think of as a tangible item. If you go into a business and ask for it, that may be authorized. That is a.
And I would also add the words that was used in there, which has a common connotation of asking for something. Game is intended to be.
In the actual code, it says solicits or accepts.
Yes.
And if we were to play on what Mr. Torres said, to be complaining about, we'll have to say, oh no, I don't accept, whatever comes from, that would have to be.
Being achieved by talking over being rude, shoving somebody the other way, meaning I'm right, she's wrong. I get all that. I just think our jurisdiction is very limited code. We're not the legislature, and I just don't feel comfortable expanding it to fit a situation where it clearly doesn't apply.
And if I may, we haven't yet,
And we wouldn't be able to.
Right.
And I would even say, I mean, what I've expressed so far is based on acceptance of offensive conduct, but our jurisdiction is very limited. I think our jurisdiction is very limited. It's set in specifically in the municipal code.
I wonder if, just going back to the timeline, if this might be one of the situations where community members might not know about procedures that are in place for where the community members can go and make a complaint.
I mean, I know things are coming to my mind already of who I would say is probably for this type of complaint. I don't know, is that something we can assist the public
It's
with?
available on the website.
The complaint.
The complaints.
Mhm.
Municipal code states the 90-day requirement, so
Right.
that's only available.
I think I'm getting at more or less of resources for the, like Commissioner Grissom said, I do think we are kind of bound by black and white here. We have a must versus shall. What we can do is, I guess we can take a vote.
I had one other quick question.
Please.
I mean, I guess it was warranted data, it was, one day.
It's in person. It was served.
Okay.
That does.
Yes, and given our code, very tight turnaround, and so that's why it was agendized for this meeting.
And Commissioner, the complaint date, not the date Sydney stamped it or said she received it, and it was May 12th.
It was the day I received it executed in person.
The item doesn't fall in our preview. The third one, another venue somewhere else, but it's not affordable. Weigh in on it.
Well, with that, I think we should take a vote.
Yes, when you take the vote, well, it can be part of the motion, but if it's a section. if you vote under-
Am I allowed to say anything about the date?
Yeah, I just don't think there's
There's
no
no
way we can.
public comment. The bases.
All right, I would make the motion, citing, subsection A. Timeline.
Timeline.
Okay. Well, I can make the motion myself, correct? I don't need, nobody else needs to. Because actually, I think I do have to open it up to somebody else to make a motion.
Is on the motion?
Should be able to.
So.
Laura-
It should be this.
Yeah, we should be fine.
We think you can make the
Yes.
motion, because this is not a hearing, like,
Is that-
hearing officer at this point, this is a review
Well,
by the board.
So if it fails and moves forward, would there be a potential for me to?
If it goes to if it went, a probable cause hearing, that would be the next step of the hearing.
Okay.
There's a few more steps, and so those by code are called hearings. Exercise tonight is not called a hearing.
Okay.
Can I sit on the record that line? I don't know if that means anything to anybody else.
Where,
He
all alleged violations may be submitted within 90 days of occurrence, or
It was discovered only contemporaneously.
Yeah.
I mean, that
I was scared. I was really scared.
That took the conduct, for some reason it's concealed or something. This occurred in front of everybody on that occurred, but I think everybody admits that they discovered it, it's just right out there in the public.
okay. Thank you for going.
That's what everybody wants to list up, wants to say something.
Just expanding on what Commissioner, Member Gersten said, is that if it's concealed, like if it's done by a third, if the complainant was not it's discovered, is typically how that's viewed.
Okay.
As he stated.
Thank you for
Thank you, sir. Is there any more discussion? That's right, that's if we go with the B section. So, okay, so section 2.28.110A, and I'll be citing the subsections number 3 and number, read them out.
Good idea.
Okay, for number 3, the complaint a violation of the specific prohibitions enumerated in this chapter. And then item number 7, which we indicated was the past the 9. With that, do I have a
Chair, if just for the record, we, in reference to the 90-day requirement as set forth in 2.28. To add on the timing, the date under the prohibitions is a generic specific provision of it. The timing of the must be filed with the Children's Municipal Code 2.
Okay,
So I just wanted to add that to the happy to second it.
Thank you. Myself and a second by Commissioner Gersten. All in favor? This item passes unanimously. Board Member Villaropoulos absent.
Can I speak now?
Unfortunately, no, there's no public comment here. 'Cause the next
So then
item-
what's my name?
There's going to be a section for us to speak, the board members and myself. The part that you would want to listen to is when we're talking during that. Okay?
But can I, like I said, can I bring this back to you guys with the,
As far as appealing goes,
yes, with the reason why it was late 9 days?
Deputy C. That you can put out. At 90 days, it's also the specified prohibition item. The language that we're interpreting, it doesn't necessarily line up with what's listed in our specified prohibitions. And that's why I think it's important when we do get to talk later during our chair, chair a little bit. But we'll get on the appeal information for you here momentarily.
Thank you.
While you do that, is it nice? I don't know, Sydney, did you have anything that you'd like to?
Oh, you know I always have something
Yes,
to
of
say.
course.
It was a pleasure having you all here, and just thank you again for being so responsive to all my emails. So.
I got a question, the items that was forwarded to the city attorney's office for review. Apply to the next meeting, what was pushed for that? Because remember all the ordinances that we worked on, all of the hot projects, someone was referred to.
Those two goes back here, and then one is going to council soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't so state what's in the code, I can't provide advice.
Right.
So I don't, I mean, I have to evaluate, it can, you know, if there is a refiling of, I can't, comment on that.
Right.
If you can refile. I don't know, what the end game is on that. I don't. Of ethics, if there's anything that states about whether things that are prejudice or not, so a review for that. And again, any complaint is going to go through the review stage again. What will come up of anything?
For my reference, thing that I can reference, as far as if there is a problem, I don't know if that's you're able to do that.
That's under not, you're saying it might not fall under the Board of Ethics.
Well,
So the other, the other issue is whether process mentioned in the Code of Ethics.
Okay.
So, noting observations here, not.
Right. I'm an attorney, not your attorney.
So,
Yeah.
so it has to be a refile.
We.
Can't answer that. Okay. That's fine. We'll I think I can move on with just my comment. Yeah. So we did staff. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add, or
No.
Moving on to item 6, chair comments. One, thank you guys. I know this was unique doing an open session. Talking about a case. Just to be clear, especially for here, this is great to see civic engagement and have the room filled. Exciting. What I can say is, in the capacity of the specified prohibitions, we're bound by specific letter of the law versus spirit of the law, right? And unfortunately, cases. Although thing was illegal or there was violations of law or something along those lines, I do believe there's multiple other avenues, especially as it relates to politics. There is definitely a lot of other places that can look specifically into the and I think those would be the more appropriate venue. I just want to be clear that this isn't black and white. So that's what makes this difficult, and I understand it was a difficult. Hopefully, I know there's a lot of experience in this room, especially with other entities or boards. Hopefully you can get can be addressed, your allegations can be properly addressed. So with that, here, it's to get here, we'll have full-time employment. The area, I'm in a boot, so yeah. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here and engaging in this. Does anyone have any comments or vice chair?
Thank you guys for coming out. Let's continue to get the work.
All right, if we don't have anything else. Looks like 7:19, I'm adjourning this meeting till the next regular meeting of Board of Ethics on June 7th.
The next one's June what?
Okay, Hurston, vacation. Okay.
And, I think I may not be able to attend next meeting.
Are you on
I
vacation
I
too?
rarely am
Sorry,
absent.
in 2 days, but I'll be back. Only gonna be 10 days.
Okay, so it's just you and, okay. But we adjourned at 19, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Put it in there.
I was like, wait.
So is it the position of the board guys will refer to, Political Practices Commission, but the position is that you guys won't even get to the point where you hear the evidence to make the referral. You guys are just going based off of this. You know, to refile or to like, you know, say you disagree with this. I mean, that should be something. Isn't it due process? Isn't it all these terms that are used and then just thrown out of the water? Powers right here, you guys are ignoring them.
Yes. And this guy. I need this guy. Yeah.
I'll see you enjoy your vacation.
Thank you. Good night, buddy. How are you?
No, this is all.
Good to see you.
Have a good vacation. You going out of town?
Yes. No, it's
Only have 10 days off.
confidentiality.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was stuck in the train that could not get out.